Hello, everybody. I am Alicia Nodeman, author of the book Don't Be a Stranger, Creating Connections and Memorable First Impressions in Everyday Life. Also an independent consultant with Rodan and Field Skincare. And I love to use my platform to share positivity, to share resources, and to share leadership and communication skills that have really served me in relationship building, in my personal world and my professional world, and really in being able to spread more generosity throughout my world in hopes of reaching yours. So that said, one of the books that I wanted to share from today is called The Real Meaning of Life. So I really enjoy doing readings out of various books that I find valuable in my world in hopes that if it helps me, it'll help somebody else. And so this is an anthology of people's submissions as to what they feel is the meaning of life, put together by author David Seaman. So I just wanted to share with you some of my favorite excerpts as I've started reading. I'm sure there will be more to come. I've asked folks in my social media platform to also start sharing with me, what do you think is your meaning of life? I posted mine earlier as well, and I am so curious to hear what inspires other people. What is the drive? What is their purpose? So one person wrote, a better answer would be that to live is to love, and to love is to bring more light into the world. That was by somebody named Edwin. And what that really brings up for me is the story of the Firefly that I share in my book, Don't Be a Stranger. I talk about when I was a little girl, how intrigued I was by these fascinating little bugs that lit up the nighttime sky in Washington, D.C., and how I would find myself chasing them around. I would frolic around as these little orbs of light would come on and flash off. And I talk about in leaving people with a positive, more favorable first impression, it's synonymous to being a firefly. It's be that little magnetic orb of light that people are drawn to in a room, whether it's because of a color that you happen to have on, whether it's an accessory. Make it easier to compliment others and make it easier to simply be complimented. It's not about manipulation. When we compliment or praise other people for a certain outcome, that is manipulative. When we do it for connection, that's relational. It's spreading the light. It's allowing and creating opportunities for sparking that light and for getting people to smile. And smiling creates intrigue, right? And intrigue sparks connection. So I love that Edwin talked about bringing more light into the world. James Jacobson wrote, I've been to the top of the pile, sank to the deepest depths, and seen every point in between. What keeps me hanging on? Morbid curiosity about what will come next. Life is an experience, and there is always something more, good or bad. The trick is in learning to take both with equal reverence. I thought that was really powerful. It's such a strong message about balance. Don Stevens wrote, every life you touch will touch you back. Treasure every sunrise, every raindrop that hits your nose, every slobber of your dog, the feeling of sand between your toes. Be moved by the tears of a child and try to fix the cause. Be grease, not glue. Breathe deep, exhale slowly, and never miss a chance to help another while on your journey here. And that also is synonymous with another message that I like to talk about and that I also wrote about and bring up in the presentations that I offer, which is be kind simply to be kind. Detach from the outcome. It's when we have an expectation as far as why we're being kind that we're doing it in a misguided way. So if you're only going to be kind because you think there's something that will serve you in the end, you might see the person again, perhaps you'd be friends. That's not the right intention. Instead, be kind simply to be kind. And if they don't respond, that's okay. You know, if you initiate a conversation and the person doesn't seem interested in reciprocating, that's okay. Let's release them with love. E.J. Sepp wrote, all the hard work you do might bring you great wealth, which will allow you to buy all kinds of stuff, but does that stuff really add to your life? One might guess that the guy sitting in a $3,000 massage chair watching a 50-inch plasma screen TV has a better life than a sugarcane farmer who sleeps in a shack where the only entertainment is the sound of crickets chirping at night. But how many of these so-called comfortable people are actually happy? I would guess that those farmers are experiencing life on a level that the man in the massage chair can only dream about. Jack Dempsey Boyd said, we are all searching for truth. We all want happiness. Learn to love yourself, and these gifts will follow. Stop looking outward. The answers lie within. The next passage goes on to read, aim to leave the world a little bit better than you found it. Whether it's through something as small as standing up for kindness or as big as building the movement to bring about broad change, both take courage. Be the change you want to see in the world. This is harder than it sounds, but it is still worth pursuing. I love that. A lot in life urges us to give in to the arrogance of the moment, the assumption that opportunities will be here forever, so why bother to take action? Do not listen to that voice. To paraphrase Goethe, boldness contains the seeds of genius. Take the first step today. Words and intentions are important, but ultimately actions matter more. Some people are lulled into false comfort or confusion by diffusing their sense of responsibility. One way to shake off this complacency is to look at the present challenge through the eyes of history. Imagine how an issue will be seen in 20 years, and the right decision will usually be revealed. Generational responsibility is the bottom line. You get to participate in making history in the present tense. John Avalon goes on to say, at the end of the day, we are all in this together. As Jackie Robinson once said, one life is not important except for the impact that it has on other lives. As I write this, I'm on an airplane looking out the window at the endless clear blue horizon above thick clouds, and I am reminded of the importance of perspective, how nature reminds us that there is always a blue sky above the clouds. Likewise, leaves fall off the tree at the turn of the season. Plants appear to die after the first frost, but come spring, they bloom again. Pain always comes before a child is born. The sunrise and the sunsets in life are sublime, and every night we see that it is the darkest just before dawn. But on a deeper level, we know that the sun never actually goes down. It's just an illusion caused by the world spinning around. Nature is nudging us, offering fresh evidence for hope and faith, love and persistence against all appearances. It still takes some courage to step confidently into the unknown, to seize the day and shape our future, but we should appreciate the process and enjoy the ride. I wrote down that really made me think of the quote that I love to talk about when I do my presentations, which is do it scared. Fear is ever present. And to really be able to step into what you feel your purpose is, sometimes we've got to step into uncharted territory, and that is frightening. So do it scared. This last one that I'm going to read is one that I had posted earlier actually on my social media wall, an excerpt. Let's start with you. What does your life mean? That you are alive means that your parents loved each other enough to make you. That you are alive means that your parents loved you enough to let you live, in spite of how annoying you were. That you are alive means that God thinks you will do some good, either for yourself or for others, that would go undone if you were to die this instant. What does God consider good for you? The answer is everything that happens to you if you let it be good for you and teach you something. If it weren't good for you and God didn't think you could handle it, God wouldn't let it happen. Even things you struggle with can be good if you overcome them because they make you stronger. You demonstrate to God what the meaning of your life is by how you live it. What you spend your time on conveys what you really think means something. Religious convictions notwithstanding. If you spend your time on things you feel are meaningless, life will seem meaningless to you, and you will probably be pretty miserable and discontented. If you spend your time on things you feel are meaningful, then your life will be full of meaning, and you will be pretty happy no matter what happens to you. Another aspect of life with an enormous amount of meaning is the struggle to acquire as many good character traits as possible and to rid oneself of as many bad ones as possible. It is a lifelong struggle, and it is very rewarding, but I am afraid too many people deny that such a struggle is worth it with the excuse, it's just the way that I am. I have talked to so many clients about that phrase. It's just the way I am. When you say it's the way that I am, what you're saying is I refuse to evolve. What you're saying is I refuse to rise above. What you're saying is I'm okay being stuck right here. So that last passage made me think too of these incredible words of wisdom passed on by somebody I so respect in my world, who says that healing and recovery are not about changing who you are. They're about getting rid of who you're not. So I will leave you with that nugget of wisdom. Thank you so much for watching. Good night.